I trusted her more than my own family. I told her something I had never said out loud. It wasn't illegal. It wasn't dramatic. It felt safe. At the end of this story, you'll understand why I replay that moment every night. She didn't know this choice would cost everything. Not just my marriage. Not just my home. But the life I thought I had built. I used to believe that some people were permanent. Not forever in a dramatic way. Just stable. The kind of people you assume will still be there when everything else changes. For me, that person was Rachel. We met in our late 20s. Same neighborhood. Same routine. Same phase of life where everyone is trying to look confident while quietly panicking. She was easy to trust. She listened. She remembered details. She didn't interrupt. When I got married, she stood next to me. When she got divorced, I sat on her kitchen floor while she cried. Our lives moved in parallel. I worked in administrative support at a small logistics company. My husband, Daniel, worked in IT. Nothing flashy. Comfortable. Predictable. We bought a modest house. 2 bedrooms. A yard we promised we'd fix one day. Rachel lived 5 minutes away. Every Thursday she came over. Wine. Leftovers. Complaints about work. Nothing special. Until one Thursday changed everything. Started with money. Not debt. Not disaster. Just pressure. Daniel's company announced layoffs. Not immediately. But soon. He wasn't panicking. I was. I ran numbers in my head constantly. Mortgage. Utilities. Insurance. Rachel noticed. "You've been quiet," she said. I hesitated. Then I told her that Daniel's job might disappear. That I was scared. That I didn't want to tell him how bad it felt in my chest. She nodded. She didn't interrupt. She said, "You're smart to think ahead." That sentence mattered. Because it made what came next feel responsible. Rachel worked part-time at a financial services office. Not an advisor. Not a decision maker. But close enough to sound informed. She told me about a temporary arrangement. A legal structure couples sometimes used when income became unstable. Nothing shady. Nothing illegal. Just a way to protect assets. The house would be placed temporarily under one name. Mine. Daniel agreed easily. He trusted me. He trusted her. The paperwork was clear. The lawyer was real. The office smelled like coffee and toner. Felt boring. That's why it felt safe. There was one thing I didn't know. First, nothing changed. Daniel kept working. Rachel kept visiting. Life stayed normal. Then Daniel was laid off. No drama. Just a meeting. A box. We adjusted. Savings dipped. I worked overtime. Rachel checked in constantly. Too constantly. She asked specific questions. About the house. About my name being the only one on the deed now. I told myself she was just being supportive. There was one thing I didn't know. A month later, Daniel found contract work. Lower pay. But manageable. We relaxed. That's when Rachel changed. She started canceling Thursdays. Then stopped replying quickly. I didn't push. People get busy. Then one afternoon, I came home and found Daniel sitting at the table. Silent. He slid a printed email toward me. Rachel's name was on it. It was sent to him. Accidentally. The subject line read, "Next steps once it's finalized." The email wasn't romantic. It wasn't explicit. It was worse. It was practical. It discussed timelines, housing, legal positioning. It talked about my house as if it wasn't ours, as if it was temporary. There was one thing I didn't know. Rachel had been advising Daniel. Quietly. She had convinced him that the arrangement protected him too. That if things went badly between us, he wouldn't be left with nothing. She framed it as fairness. Daniel didn't tell me because he thought it would stress me out. I laughed when he explained. Then I couldn't stop shaking. I called Rachel. She didn't answer. Days passed. Then the letter arrived. Certified mail. From a lawyer. Not ours. Hers. Rachel was claiming partial interest in the property. not ownership. Influence. Because she had provided strategic guidance and financial planning services during a vulnerable period. There was one thing I didn't know. The agreement I signed months earlier included a clause. A referral clause. I hadn't read it carefully. No one expects betrayal to be written in plain language. Rachel wasn't stealing the house. She was positioning herself inside the decision-making process. Legally, the fight was quiet. Lawyers, emails, fees. Daniel blamed himself. I blamed myself. Rachel never raised her voice. She never showed emotion. She simply stopped being my friend. The house wasn't lost immediately. That came later, when Daniel left. Not because of Rachel, because of what trust felt like after her. The house sold during mediation. No drama, no shouting, just signatures. Years later, I still think about Thursdays, about how safe it felt to talk, about how reasonable everything sounded. There was no villain speech, no shocking confession, just one conversation that shouldn't have happened, and a silence that replaced it. This isn't where the damage ended. This is where it started. In the next part, I'll tell you what happened after the letters, after the lawyers, and after trust stopped feeling safe. If you want to hear the rest of this story, subscribe and turn on notifications.